All right, Shalom. I want to start off first and foremost by giving call halayim all Yahweh Hashem Shai, Ba'ashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who feed and nourish us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai. And salutations, shalom and blessings to you, sincere Akim that pushes word, truth, and sincerity. Just a quick article. I don't know exactly when this joint was released. So I can let me. Well, I don't know when this joint came out, but I'm gonna just go in on it. It says dad found guilty in execution of 15-year-old son who he abused his infant daughter. Now, in itself, to commit an act of a sexual act against your family that's forbidden in the scriptures, man. You know, you're not supposed to sleep with your sister, your mother, your brother, none of that shit, man. That's all wickedness, man. Okay, so the fact that this father executed his son for committing an act on his daughter, hey, in a righteous society, man, that's okay, man. But in this society, it's not, because Esau, he loves sexual deviance, and he loves the acts of pedophilia and things like that, man. That's because that's what they're about, man. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna read this article. This is from Life Daily. It says dad found guilty in execution of 15-year-old son who abused his infant daughter. It says we all do stupid things as teenagers. We take risks that we ought not to take and talk back when we know we shouldn't. We'll find excuses to skip class or steal some beers out of the fridge on a Friday night. But most of these small rebellious acts are harmless. This is a story about a young man whose folly was far from harmless, and who received a punishment from his parents that can only be described as overkill. This is a nice boy. Okay, you see this picture, so-called nice boy. It says Jamar was a type of person who was always smiling, even as a mere 15-year-old. Everyone could see that his already gregarious personality meant he was going places. Sure, he passed his courses with a few B's and C's, but there were A's too. He was, by all accounts, a nice, friendly young man. It says, yet, as nice and quiet as he seemed to everyone else, Jamar was already holding on to a rather a devastating secret, one that once revealed would change the way everyone saw him, especially his parents. He lived with his mother, Lizette, his father, Jameer Sr., and his 2-year-old or 3-year-old sister in Highland Park, Michigan. Life was good until his mother began to notice him acting strange. It says Lizette had noticed that her son was acting stranger than usual. He seemed to be avoiding eye contact. His ready smile had faltered pretty quickly lately. Finally, after a little prodding, Jamar came forward to tell his mother that he had done something awful, something he knew was very wrong. And this is him with his little baby sister. It says the 15-year-old had admitted to his mother that he had engaged in what would be considered inappropriate contact with his 3-year-old half-sister. Lizette was it says Lizette was beside herself. This wasn't a bad grade or skipping class. this wasn't getting caught drinking or even shoplifting. She was going to have to call the boy's father. So I killed me. Turn this airplane mode on. All right, it says Jamar Sr. had worked as a letter carrier for the United States Postal Service for years. He was working that day when Lizette called him with the news that he had to come by and deal with Jamar. She told him that he had done something horrible and made it very clear that no matter what, this wasn't something they could just sweep under the rug. It says Jamar Sr. came into the house fully expecting to have to punish his son for breaking the law in some way. It was the only thing he could think of that Jamar could have done to warrant his mother's call. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that he could have molested his sister. It says after an hour and a half of questioning from both Lizette and Jamar Sr., Jamar finally came clean. He told them that he had gotten up from the couch and gone into the little girl's bedroom. He'd pulled his shorts and underwear off and got on top of her. Before he could fully finish though, his father lost control. It says Jamar Pinckney Sr. pulled out his gun and began pistol whipping his son in their living room. Lizette jumped up. She expected him to hit the boy, beat him even, but she certainly didn't expect a firearm to be brought into the equation. Before she could protest, Jamar picked his son up and began to drag him outside. It says Lizette and another female relative tried to pull Jamar Sr. from taking his son outside, but to no avail. Pinckney turned the weapon on them and told them not to interfere. Then he marched his son out of the house and towards the vacant lot nearby. He was going to teach Jamar a lesson he'd not soon forget. In a strange twist, Pinckney then had the prone crying teen strip. Oh, and it says in a strange twist, Pinckney then had the prone crying teen strip his clothes off and kneel in a very public vacant lot. Faced with the irate father and a gun at his face, Jamar did as he was told. He pleaded with his father to stop, to spare him, but Pinckney was unmoved by either his son's pleas or those of his terrified mother. It says the 15-year-old boy begged his father to stop. "No, Daddy, no!" Jamar screamed, but there was no stopping what he had begun. The 37-year-old father looked down the barrel of the gun and no longer saw his child, for he had fired the gun once directly into his son's head. Jamar Pinckney Jr. fell dead to the floor. His own father had killed him with a single bullet. That's pretty much the point, man. Hey, man, that's judgment, man. Hey, man, the Most High is judging this place, man. Okay, and I was talking to the Zaquan Yachty the other day about this very incident, man, and I was telling him, I was like, and you can believe, and you better believe that this nigga, he blacked out, man. And the spirit that jumped on him to make him commit this act took control, man. I can guarantee you, he probably don't even know what the fuck happened. All he knows is that he's sitting in jail for killing his son. He can't even. Well, I can't say for certain if he don't remember it and all that, but majority of times, when you see or read about things like this, the people who commit these acts, they be like, well, I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got here, or what I did. It's because that spirit that the Lord had put on them for them to do it, it caused them to do that act, man. Okay. And with that said, I want to grab this. This is Sirach 39 and 28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Yeah, man. So that spirit that was put on him was a spirit of vengeance, man. Whatever his son had did in a past life, or whatever it may be, the Lord wanted wanted to happen exactly the way it happened, man. Having the son being put to death by his father, man. Okay, for an abominable act of him molesting his own sister, man. Now, this little girl was 3 years old, man. So the act of him putting this little nigga to death, man, was nothing wrong with that. But in this society, everything was wrong with it, because what, man? Esau is in rulership, man, and he frowns upon a righteous act being played out in his wickedness, man, in his wicked society, I should say. Okay. Verse 28 or 29, it says, fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. It says, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. Is not a gun? Is that not a modern day sword, man? Yes, it is, man. Is that not the blessing that Esau was given, the sword? And what sword does Esau carry, man? A gun, man. He doesn't carry a two-edged blade. He carries a pistol, a nuclear bomb, or a M16, or whatever the hell you want to say it is. You know what I'm saying? So these things were all created for vengeance, man. So this father putting that his son to death for the act that he committed, man, was a spirit of vengeance that was put on him for him to commit that, for him to cast out that judgment, man. Okay. And there's going to be a bunch more of that going on in this world, man. It's clear to see when you're looking at the news, on just watching videos brothers put out. Hey, man, the spirit of vengeance is out, man. The Most High is judging this place, man. Okay, He is judging this place, man. And with that, man, I'm gonna say shalom.